Hey guys, might be a little shaky. I'm free-handed right now. I'm using two hands. So you may notice that my table's been a little bit more spread out. Things are a little bit more thinner. You may have noticed some other stacks, like these stacks, and what exactly are they? This is just a quick video and kind of like my setup and procedure. Granted, when I started, I kind of already started in a mess. Once you start in a mess, it's kind of hard to get out. If you're going to start doing this in terms of like, big collecting and moving things and doing things in bulk like me, um, some things I would suggest to beat you to it is go ahead and stack the same Pokemon over if you're buying in bulk. So even if it's the Jungle series, Fossil series, Base Set series, Neo Genesis, all the different series, as long as it's the same Pokemon, stack it in bulk, make sure everything's clean. Make sure your table is clean. So this may seem gimmicky, but this is a table that was already here in the house. It's a broken, I presume broken air hockey table. This thing that sucks is there's some small sort of pebble or rock on it. I didn't clean that before I put the cards on the table. Now, in order for me to, clean it, I have to remove all the cards from the table. But at bare minimum, I made sure every bottom card has a top loader underneath it. So I don't slide these around on the table anyways. But as an extra form of protection, you would have wanted to have wiped this up before putting the cards on. Obviously, as I said, I started in a mess panic period. I'm telling you some things to avoid. So start with a completely clean table. I mean, super clean. Doesn't have to be a brand new table. Just make sure you've already wiped down whatever table you're going to use as your sorting table. This is really mainly the sorting table. It's good to have shelves too, of course, when you have some random mysterious cards going on, or if your table gets filled and you have to have some side product that will eventually come on the table once the table gets cleared. So the way I do it is I stack everything all into one of that card. So this is all my Gyarados that I haven't gone through yet. And then I eventually go through them and I pick out ones that I think are at least, at a quick glance, will be good for the PSA. I put them in a top loader, and then I've started to put them in these piles. The reason why I've started doing these piles is because these piles let me build a set of 20 super quick right here, because I could do literally, like for example, I could have done a stack of 20 of just base set hollow Blastoises, but the reason why I don't do that is because I want you guys to be able to guess the grades, and it's not known. I always try to make sure that the cards are always slightly different so you can guess the grades on the videos. So there is some random organization. So like you may notice like these three are slightly separated because these I'm probably going to send to the BGS on their own. That's my own internal memory. If you could do anything better, I would completely move them off the organization table. And if you're going to use a different grader for a certain set of cards, no matter what, separate them and move them somewhere further. I've got my binders, I've got some of my shipping materials down there, and of course I still have some random stuff from the house in here that I'd like to clear out to make more room. But as I said, once you start in a mess, it's kind of hard to get out of the mess. And then, so I go from here, I sort a quick thing of 20, and then I come over to what people really enjoyed seeing for a while was this table. It's a little bit more cleaner, just because this is kind of my this was my stuff I had listed for sale on eBay table, but now it's kind of like my giveaway pin / future video table. And then so I do my stacks of 20 of cards that I want to do for the PSA. So these are all stacks of 20, not of the same card, they're all different cards, but they're stacks of 20 for me to do my PSA videos and also pre-prep for me to send into the PSA. So the next step is when I'm creating a video, I'll pull off a stack of 20, just a random stack of 20, whichever one I'm feeling like. I generally go off the top card. I'll feel like, oh, I want to do Arbok today. I'll know Arbok's in this stack, so I'll pull that Arbok off. I'll go ahead and print off a clean sheet of 20, and before I do the video, I'll go ahead and go through the cards and fill out a majority of the information from here to here, and then I'll do my guessing of the grades while we do the video, of course. Then once I get all that organized and I put my set of 20 with the paper, there's a reason why this one is separate, don't worry about that, that's my own little thing. You'll figure that out from another video. I go ahead and I move them over to here, to which I have my stack of 20 on top of the filled out papers. So why will this be helpful? Well, this will be helpful also if you're not doing videos. because it'll give you a hard copy if you don't already print out a hard copy of a record once you're going. But this will allow me to have a hard copy, and then when I take my stack of 20 with me over to my computer to fill out my PSA forms, I have the cards and I have this sheet already kind of filled out with information to speed things up. It does take a decent amount of time to get things listed on to the PSA website. So each one of these is a stack of 20 with the information sheets underneath each stack of 20. I wouldn't go too high because then your stack can fall over, so I stopped at stacks of 60. And then of course when you're shipping stuff, that's a whole nother thing. You just want to find a good box that fits. I've come to find out that ETBs do a really good job on, like, they're the perfect size for a card in a top loader. The issue you have, of course, though, if you mail stuff in an ETB, if the box says Pokemon on it, that mailman might be like, oh, well, this, it's becoming a really big popular thing that almost everyone knows. Pokemon's a high dollar item. I don't know if I suggest it. I'm probably going to paint over my boxes, actually, because that's how paranoid I am about it. It's just a quick thing of spray paint, and I have several, and I've got cheap ones too. I probably won't use the expensive ones, but I've got cheap spray paint. I'll probably spray paint my boxes and let them dry, but they actually are the perfect size. I'll do it when I get ready to mail stuff out. Those are the perfect size boxes for top-loaded cards. You want your cards to be secure and fit and not really bounce around. And then once we have them like that, we pull them off, we go over to the computer, and then we go ahead and we start filling out the PSA forms. We use our stamps.com account to do the mail. We have the USPS come pick up, or if we're in a real big hurry, we'll drop off. But generally, we just have the USPS come pick up at the house. Anyone can do that, schedule that. You don't need a business account or anything. I wouldn't suggest any shelving above your head level. That's why the shelving stops here. It's easy to see, and I can see all the small items, so it's really easy for small items to get lost forever. So most of the shelving ends at the head level. The one up there doesn't, where the binders are at, but that's just my decision on where to keep the binders, because the binders are a bigger item. I'm not going to really lose them. I am working on organizing my binders again to where I'm starting to put empty binders specifically over there, and then I'm putting binders that I'm about to go through again, in terms of pulling more cards out down there, and then those are binders that I haven't sorted through. Yeah, it's a pretty junky setup right now. It's just my advice on how to do better. I've got like a whole bunch of crappy bulk over there. I've got bulk on top of my fridge. It's all a matter of how much bulk I'm willing to go through, if I can find one to buy it, or I tend to use it as giveaways if people really enjoy it. And so it's just a matter of getting good organization before you start plopping stuff down. I really suggest it. It's kind of bit me in the butt in terms of me always being paranoid of these cards getting beat up with all the little specks of like kitty litter / dirt stuff on here. And then it's just good to keep hard copies of what you send in to the PSA to include the mailing, tracking, and all that. And then if you're gonna do this as a business, you want to keep track, a good stack of all of your stuff that you use for shipping, because that adds up really quick. Other than that, I just want to show you the quick little setup, and also, why you've been seeing so many PSA videos, and why you're going to continue to see so many PSA videos, and why there's more PSA videos coming your way, while also I still have to go through all of these to do more PSA videos. I was at a point to when I was doing these from the start that I was saying you shouldn't PSA everything, which generally is really true depending on the turnaround time of investment you want to see, because it costs money to have stuff PSA rated. So how you need to look at it is how long you're willing to wait. I really don't suggest you get tied in with money that you really need. I would never suggest that for this, unless you're doing it as just like a hobby and you're buying just little by little, not to where you're bulk buying. Bulk buying is strictly kind of a business turnaround. Granted, the only thing that's really been the big kink in our turnaround is the timing of the PSA. I know I keep complaining about them, but I'm going to. It's literally been the kink to where there's only been spending, but there's been no money coming back in, because I could sell these raw, but I'd probably end up breaking even, and that doesn't account for all the time I put in finding these collections for a decent price. So I suggest getting your cards graded. If they're at least Wizards of the Coast, almost always, if you want an instant turnaround, you're pretty safe. For anything newer than Wizards of the Coast, there's still some cards worth grading. You have to be more selective. But I would say really any card's worth grading. You just have to wait it out. As much as people are collecting more and more now and trying to follow the collecting hobby and buying and selling because it has shown to be profitable, people are also aware that because more people are doing this, it will cease to be profitable in an instant. But once again, people will kind of give out, sell their stuff, lose their stuff, damage their stuff, and the prices will kind of go back to being high again. And it's all a matter of the generation that can collect and can't collect. So, they continue to do the show. So there's young kids watching that new show right now, and eventually, as they get older, they're going to want the Pokemon from their generation. And so it's a future investment. It probably won't blow up as much as base set did, but there is money to be made. There's collectibles to be had. And then what also sucks is I have to move a lot. So don't get into this size collection if you have to move as much as me. So make sure you're moving stuff constantly. That's why I'm not in here 24/7, but I'm in here a large amount of my day trying to reorganize stuff, trying to ship stuff out, and then trying to figure out how I'm going to package stuff correctly when we have to move to another house. It is pretty nuts. I really hope that this kind of gave you an insight on how the little studio is. This isn't a great studio. This is my furnace boiler room, so that's why I'm always talking over like a furnace that's always running or an AC unit. Also, I really suggest good lighting, good strong white lights that let you see scratches easier. Also, of course, it illuminates a very dark, damp little area. I try and avoid having too much stuff. There's just a lot of stuff that came with this place. If you can, try and have just a dedicated space for this. It will make your life a lot easier, and it will pay dividends down the road in terms of how fast you can bring stuff in and move stuff out. I really don't have any room to actually collect anything, and it's not my intention to. I do enjoy the hobby. I did enjoy the show as a kid. I definitely enjoy the Game Boy games on road trips. I enjoyed playing the card game as a kid. I haven't taken the time because I'm just so worried about getting stuff out of here. But I think when I come down to a lot of my more damaged cards, if I don't happen to give them away, I may build a deck and find some people to play and see how I do, and maybe do a video of that. It's been a long time since I've played. I know some of the stuff has changed, and I know there's stuff that I read into in terms of actual effects and stuff that people don't consider fair, but there is no rules against it, but it is here or there. I just hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gives you a little bit of an insight on what to expect on if you're going to do stuff like this. I'm a little bit more of the less organized YouTuber. I think a lot of YouTubers have binders and they pull their cards out and they do their videos. I don't fully suggest binders. Getting top loaders and penny sleeves is really the way to go. I see a lot of cards, even that have been bindered, are damaged over time, and it's just binders are a good immediate step to protection, but really the best you can do, in my opinion, is penny sleeves inside top loaders. Don't put a card in a top loader without being penny sleeved. It will possibly damage it even more. If you want to go extra fancy, you can get slightly thicker penny sleeves. They're really not called penny sleeves. I think they're called like matte sleeves, or you can go even fancier and get some of those cool design back sleeves. But really all you need is a penny sleeve and top loader. People really like card savers. I'm not a fan of them. They're not rigid, but what they do happen to do is, because they're so kind of like a tucked blanket, is that when you put the card in, it doesn't touch the edges and it gets stuck in here pretty well. But I don't like the fact that they're not rigid. Geez, why is it making that noise? Yeah, I don't like these, but a lot of people do. I'll use them for other things. I'll mail cards in them. I'll send in the little art boxes in them because it's kind of fine. But yeah, I really am a big fan of top loaders. You can even get ones that are kind of neat in my opinion. This is a more exclusive one, but this costs less. You can get, little different things here and there. You just want a standard top loader. If you need help, go to a card shop. They'll help you figure out what top loader you need. and they'll probably be able to sell you top loaders at a better price anyways than what you find online. That's been my case so far. You can buy top loaders on Amazon too. You may have also noticed I've got some other stuff. I know that says, actually, that is a baseball binder, or at least it was. I don't know if it still is, but I do have some baseball cards and stuff that I try to organize and move, but it is what it is. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. This is just my little studio setup, and hopefully maybe next time when I show it to you, it will be way more organized. Thanks. Bye.